We begin this morning with Lee Cowan and a disturbing moment in history that still haunts one American city more than a century later.
In downtown Wilmington, North Carolina, stands a memorial that's pretty easy to pass.
This is the 1898 Memorial Park.
6 bronze paddles stretching toward the sky.
These 2 gray stones have a brief summary of what happened here in Wilmington.
The plaque is hard to read in places, not because the words have washed away, but because what they say is so hard to believe.
It's the only piece of land that is dedicated to remembering the families that were slain and taken away from us.
There are many tours that tell the tale, but Cedric Harrison says he's determined to make it known.
The first thing we have to do to solve this problem is education. One of my elders always told me, if you knew better, you do better.
Not far away is Wilmington's first Presbyterian church, where parts of that story live too.
This is a church I grew up going to. I was baptized here.
Lauren Collins, now a journalist at the New Yorker magazine, pointed us to a stained glass window in the back dedicated to someone named Colonel Walker Taylor. As a kid, she didn't know the stories behind men like him. But they weren't the only mysteries about her hometown, she says.
I always had this sense that there was something a little off, a little amiss.
Turns out that Colonel Walker Taylor was a celebrated white supremacist back in the late 1890s. And so was the pastor.
When I learned this, it was shocking and it was personal. Loving a place doesn't mean lying about it or lying for it.
The church is making efforts to come to terms with the past. The city of Wilmington as a whole, however, has been a bit slower. In her new book, They Stole a City, Collins unravels the darkest chapter, the only successful coup in our nation's history. Never heard about it? Well, most folks haven't.
There are people that I've asked to talk to who haven't wanted anything to do with me. But there have also been a lot of people who are ready.
In 1898, Wilmington was a prosperous, integrated city. Blacks and whites shared political power and leadership positions. It was a model for the New South. Still, not everyone accepted the path that Wilmington had taken, especially the former slave-owning class, mostly Southern Democrats.
They explicitly centered their campaign around the issue of white supremacy.
Literally, they had a book, How to Build This White Supremacy Campaign. It was not secret like it would be today.
That's Tom Keith. His grandfather was B.F. Keith, and one of the few white elites in Wilmington who pushed back.
As he saw the white supremacy campaign develop, he wrote everybody, the governor, senators, someone's going to get killed. This is not going to end well.
There was even a white Declaration of Independence drawn up, written in part by a wealthy businessman named Hugh McCrae. Hugh McCrae III is his great-grandson.
Do you think he was a white supremacist? By definition, yes. The scary thing that strikes you is that I'm convinced that these folks thought they were doing the right thing.
And the right thing, according to them, was to purge Wilmington of all black influence. And on the morning of November 10th, 1898, that's just what they did.
So this is where the angry mob came at during 1898.
Starting with the city's only black newspaper.
The Daily Record, that black-owned newspaper, was on the 2nd floor in its own office space.
They set the building on fire and then posed for this picture.
Every time I see it, sends chills down my spine because
There's a pride in it.
there is. They have this look of flushed satisfaction. It's a trophy.
But that was just the beginning. The mob then made its way here, to the crossroads of 4th and Harnett Streets.
A shot rang across the intersection, and almost immediately, 3 black men were dead.
In the hours that followed, a cart fixed with a rapid-fire machine gun advanced through town with impunity, like a primitive tank, firing at will on the largely unarmed black residents. No one really knows how many the mob murdered that afternoon, but historians generally agree the number ranges from dozens to hundreds.
I love you, Grandpa.
One of the victims was Joshua Halsey, a black laborer and father of 4 girls who, according to notes taken during the conspirators' meeting, was singled out to be killed.
It's in the minutes. When you see that Josh, get that Josh.
Your great-grandparents must have walked across this bridge all the time.
All the time.
You see, Joshua had sued the city after his wife Sally tripped and injured herself on what was then a poorly maintained bridge. His rightful legal action put a target on his back.
They were building a life. They owned a home.
Yeah.
They were upstanding citizens. So the only guilt was being black.
Elaine Brown, his great-granddaughter, says he was shot 14 times in the head as his wife Sally watched. She, like many other black women and children, was eventually driven out of town. The last piece of the murderous puzzle that day was to seize political power. White Democrats stormed Wilmington City Hall, where its multiracial government sat.
When they walked into the room, the Board of Aldermen had 7 white men and 3 black men. And when they walked out, all of those officials had resigned.
And did they resign basically at gunpoint?
Literally at gunpoint.
Not a single person was ever prosecuted, in part because newspaper headlines characterized the violence as whites defending themselves against a black race riot. With the only black newspaper in town gone, there was no one to refute that false narrative.
People who were suffering in Wilmington in the aftermath of the coup
In
appealed.
the years that followed, the coup was talked about less and less, yet it had a kind of insidious undertow that kept yanking black people away from Wilmington. At the time of the coup, 56% of the city was black. Today, it's dwindled to only about 15%. The ripples still roll across this place. Those who opposed the coup, like Tom Keith's grandfather, are still often thought of as traitors. Just ask his distant relatives.
One of my cousins, when I was about 4, he's thumbing down 421. Some old farmer picks him up, starts talking to him. Finally says, well, what's your name, son? He says, Julian Keith. The guy slams on the brakes and you're a damn Republican. Get the hell out of my car. 50 years later.
The echoes are just as strong for Hugh McCrae III. Much to his surprise, some see his great-grandfather's participation in the coup as heroic.
He said your grandfather saved Wilmington. I was shocked. We think it's then, but it's a lot of that is still with us.
Is there room for forgiveness?
There's always room for forgiveness. We have to start telling this story the way that it is, because we need justice and we need healing. And healing doesn't come with lies. It comes with the ugly truth of things. We gotta pluck that out.
As for Lauren Collins, those odd questions about her hometown of Wilmington have been answered. Not satisfied, not understood, but answered factually.
I feel a part of this story, and I also feel that it's incumbent upon white people like me to know this history and to grapple with it and to shoulder the full truth of it, even when it's uncomfortable.